Hey guys, welcome back. Now, PlanB has just released a huge price prediction, potential scenario where Bitcoin gets to $1 million, not in 5 years or 3 years, but by the end of next year. Now, anyone unfamiliar with PlanB, he's a former institutional investor, creator of the stock-to-flow model, and now has almost 2 million followers on X. So I guess this could be considered as a best-case scenario if everything plays out in crypto's favor. So in this video, we'll be looking at, firstly, a quick look back at stock-to-flow to see where are we in this market cycle and what exactly is stock-to-flow predicting. Then we'll take a look at this mega bullish scenario just laid out by PlanB and the reasons behind it. And then we'll finish with where he thinks the next major bottom will be after the market top and then subsequent crash. Okay, so first up, after returning from his latest boating trip, I think PlanB is feeling super bullish, as he just laid out a scenario where Bitcoin gets to $1 million by just next year. Okay, so starting with the famous stock-to-flow model created by PlanB, I have to say I am a massive fan of this chart because it gives you the entire crypto market and some really useful information in just one place. It clearly shows the 4-year cycles of booms and busts as it moves higher over time. It's color coordinated and it goes from deep red into yellow, into green, and then into blue. And this is just how many days there are until the next halving. So as it goes from this deep blue into red, this is a halving here, deep blue into red, this is a halving here, and halving here. And so far, if history repeats, there's a very clear pattern. We have the halving, there is a period after the halving before there is a mega rally. Same here, we had the halving, there's a very turbulent period after the halving, leading to the next massive rally. Again, halving is here, a very turbulent period after the halving, leading to a massive rally. And what's so exciting for everyone right now is that again, we've had the halving, again, we've had this turbulent period, and we're on the precipice of the next massive run. So there's lots of anticipation and excitement around crypto right now. As if history repeats, we would be seeing the next mega run. And the line that goes through is just the average. It's the 463-day average that runs through the middle. And because we are humans with human nature, we just chase the prices way higher than they should be, and we crash them back down below. We send prices to the moon, blowing right past where it should be, and crash it right back down below. And again, this is just something that keeps repeating as well. So stock-to-flow is a great chart. The next average that it's predicting is approximately $500,000 for Bitcoin. And we'll talk about this prediction a little bit later in this video. But for now, crypto is still on track. Everybody's anticipating the next big run, whether it begins this month, October, or maybe November, or maybe December. But undoubtedly, right now is a great time to be in crypto. Now, one of the big places that me and PlanB differ is that he believes we're going to be getting an exponential growth this next time around, and I think we are going to continue to get diminishing returns. And even using PlanB's own model, this is his latest version, this data to me clearly says diminishing returns. So if this is the average right here, and you can see just how far prices blew past the average. In the next cycle, yes, it blew past the average, but it didn't go as high. There were diminishing returns. Then the last cycle, this time the run barely got to the average. So this says to me that this time around, after this next crazy run, it's not even going to get to the average. And remember, the average is about $500,000. So for me, his own chart clearly shows diminishing returns, and this is why I personally don't think Bitcoin's going to get past about $200,000. If it gets to 300, I will be extremely surprised. But I'd say it's way more likely something like 200k, a run to 200k will be the market top this time. So just wanted to point out the difference between Exponential, where his scenario breaks right past again onto $1 million. Now, I very much could be wrong. However, I've been burned by the last two cycles, so I'd prefer to err on the side of caution. So this was the massive potential scenario just put out by PlanB, which is causing a bit of a storm. As to say it's bullish is an understatement. So let's just go through this and see exactly what it's saying. So first point being, this month in October, we're going to get a classic pump month, taking prices probably finally past this pesky $70,000 mark. And anyone who's seen my videos know that I have covered that October tends to be a good pump month. So if prices pump up 20%, what would that give? Well, here's Bitcoin's price, and if we get a nice 20%, we're looking at blowing through 70,000 at 15%, and then as we get to 20%, we could be finishing, interestingly, right at this new all-time high at 73,000, just over. So 20% is a very interesting price target, but as he says, blowing past 70 and potentially onto new highs. Then next point is November, and it says that Trump wins the election and it ends this Democrat, Biden, Harris, Warren, Gensler war on crypto. This time smashing prices through this $100,000 mark. So that would be one hell of a move for November. Now, although that's a massive move, I do still think it's in the realms of possibility. So far so good, but it's very, very bullish. Next hits December, and this time predicting a massive ETF inflow, sending prices to 150,000. So going from 100 to 150, a 50% move. And the main cause being the ETFs, I would say is very, very dubious, but will continue. Next comes January, and crypto people and companies returning to the US, sending prices from 150 to 200. Again, for me, very, very dubious, as normally, if you had a crypto company that's been set up abroad and you are moving things to the US, it's not going to happen in just 1 month. This could easily be a 3 to 6 month period. So very, very dubious, but will continue. February hits and Power Law Crew sells, bringing prices back down to 150k. So this is people who are using power laws, and he also later said people who think diminishing returns. So this would be me, and this is where I think prices ultimately get. So correct, the diminishing returns people, including myself, would be selling out and bringing prices back to 150k. Next we have March, And Bitcoin becomes legal tender in Bhutan, Argentina, and Dubai. And again, a massive price pump from 150k to 300k, doubling in price by some countries, making it legal tender. Again, for me, very, very dubious. However, we'll continue. April, the US, led by Trump, starts building a strategic Bitcoin reserve, taking it from 300 to 400. Okay, I'll give him that. May hits, and other countries, but not the EU, join the rat race, taking prices from 400 to 500. I'd say that's doable. June, several AI start using Bitcoin to anonymously arbitrage traditional finance from 5 to 6. Okay, in the realms of possibility. July to December, this is where we get the massive face-melting FOMO rally going from 600 to a million. So whenever we get these blow-off tops, the true banana zone, it does go vertical. So you are going to see a crazy, crazy move. However, this is less than 50%. So this is more likely than, say, the one where it goes from 150 to 300. So at a blow-off top, it's possible, and this is how it gets to $1 million by the end of the year. So that is his potential scenario. As a bonus, he also included, after the peak, how much does he think Bitcoin and the market is going to crash this time around? So let's just quickly cover that. 2026 would be the distribution phase, and this would take Bitcoin back to 500,000. So there's a 50% drop, but that's not all. Then in 2027, this would be the bear market, and Bitcoin would ultimately bottom at 200,000. So there is an 80% drop. So that is a massive, massive drop, just as big as his massive, massive pump. So let me just finish by showing why I don't think we're going to get an 80% drop. So back at the Bitcoin chart, and this time we've put it onto a logarithmic chart, so we get the entirety of the crypto market in just one chart. And if you're wondering the things that I've added, this is just how I view the crypto market. The markers, blue markers here, these are the halvings. The orange flags, this is the market bottoms each time. And the yellow flag is something that PlanB has said, which is a great time to buy is 6 months before the halving. So 6 months before the halving. 6 months before the halving. This money sign, that's when I first got into crypto. And this money sign is when I moved the rest of my cash position going all in on crypto. So the question we're going to try to answer is, are we going to get another 80% crash? Well, the first step is just to take a look at how bad these crashes were. Once we get the numbers, it will give us some better insights. So just zooming in a bit on this first crash, and let's just take a look at how big this was. So from this market top and going to where it ultimately bottomed, it's about 86%, rounded 87%. Next crash, let's just take a look. Again, another measured move. This was the market top and crashing down to about here. So this is 84%. And then the last one that we went through, final measured move. This was the market top and it bottomed at about here. So now we get to see the big crashes. So the first crash, 87%, the next crash, 85%, and then the next crash, 77%. So for me, not only is there diminishing returns on the upside, I think there's also diminishing returns in the crashes as well. They become less severe. So predicting the trend, 87 to 85 to 77, I would say it's probably more likely that the next crash is somewhere between 50% and 70%. I would say probably 70% is the worst case scenario. This data says to me that we're probably not going to get another 80% crash into Bitcoin. However, just know, very likely a lot of the altcoins could still crash 80%, but for this reason, I don't think it's going to happen to Bitcoin. Former institutional investor and creator of the stock-to-flow model PlanB has just come out with a huge price prediction, potential scenario where Bitcoin gets to $1 million by the end of next year. And it's kind of like a best case scenario where everything falls into crypto's favor, like a massive run in October, then Trump winning, then ETFs pumping, then countries adopting, then the US building a strategic reserve, and then add to all of this a bucket load of FOMO. His big bet is that Bitcoin will break trend and give exponential gains, leading to a mega rally bigger than ever before. However, after all said and done, he still thinks we're going to get a massive crash, an 80% sell-off once again. Now, for me, although this scenario is possible, I personally don't think it's probable. I'm in the camp that Bitcoin probably gets to about 150 to 200,000, and I'll be extremely surprised if it can get to 300,000 by next year. And finally, I'm also in the camp that we get diminishing returns on the market crash as well. So this time, probably we'll see a mega crash between 50 and 70%. So there you are, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Now, you tell me, what do you think about PlanB's latest scenario? Let me know below. Is it too bullish? Is it not bullish enough? However, just remember to get rid of 100% of the comment spam and trading bots that plague YouTube comments. We are trying out the new SuperThanks Commenting system. So to get your question or comment read and replied to, or just to say thanks, then use SuperThanks below. And for now, just to say, if you did enjoy anything in the video, then drop a like, and a big thank you to everyone who does, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.